Kanpai!
Kanpai!
Bit of a round robin this week, but I think that's fine.
So, where's the music?
Yes, you're right. Gosh, I can't believe I forgot that.
It's fine.
Again.
We got it.
Background music
Right.
for the stream.
Welcome, weebs. We are back again with this week. We've got a special guest of Cleo Naturin, where Nasuth presses the nameplates button. Any second now.
I could do that.
There we go.
Can't believe I'm with a bunch of weebs.
Yeah, all the weebs. And
Goddamn
so
weebs over here.
we are doing another week, which is an intro into anime, where we talk about Cleo's tastes and what we can do to expand your watched list, really. So
Alright, let me get a list up here so I can write this down.
I'll send you a list of what we talk about. Don't worry about it. Cool. So just a bit of housekeeping to begin with, very quick and brief. Just to remind everyone, we have timestamps and chapters allowing people to navigate to the sections of the show they're interested in watching. We have shortened this down solely because, well, it's gotten way too long. And so just getting straight to the point. We've still got Thaylien. Thaylien is covering for Loz while he's in the process of moving. He has given us some semblance of when he will be in the next Kanpai Cast / 10 o'clock, which is mid-March. So just a couple of weeks. Yes, Thaylien, we do have you under contract until then. And that is about it for housekeeping. So we're now going to...
We haven't... You don't want the pictures to come out, right, Thaylien? You don't want those...
Yeah, Thaylien. Those questionable pictures of...
Oh man, what have I gotten myself into?
Yeah. Right, so we're going to move straight on to news this week in anime.
Right, so first off, we have a new anime adaptation for Spice and Wolf has just been greenlit, but there's no indication of whether it'll be a remake or a sequel or if it's going to be some kind of completely original work. So we'll have to see. The light novel, which has spawned both a television and a virtual reality series, I'm not sure, I guess you have to watch that on your Oculus or whatever, is currently in its 15th. Is currently having its 15th anniversary, so that's pretty cool.
I thought they turned around and said that it was going to be a remake.
Did they? Well, so this was posted. This was posted on ANN, Anime News Network, from his official site, and it was only 2 days ago. So unless something's changed, that's the latest word I have on it.
But
but in an update to last week, we have confirmation on the rumor that we shared that there will indeed be a Nier Automata anime. Aniplex is going to be producing it, so Aniplex does pretty decent stuff, yeah?
Yeah.
I might watch that.
So far, all they have is like a concept art piece of what 2B will look like. It's like a very, very rough sketch. But if you wanna go look at that, it is on their official website, NierAutomata-anime.com. And finally, this one's not actually news, this is just me. It has been 1,744 days since Marin took over all the anime everywhere. Here's hoping that 2B can unseat the queen.
Well, I was just going to say that I think that every person who's played that game knows exactly what 2B looks like. A lot of detail. So if the anime doesn't take
all
it, it's gonna
2
be a
million
real surprise.
polygons of it.
Mm-hmm. There's more polygons in that model than there is in the entirety of Ocarina of Time.
That sounds about right, actually.
That's amazing.
Cool. Right. Well, I think we shall start with getting on with the show. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of Cleo's options. This is not one of them. I was hoping that
No association with that.
Yeah, I was hoping that when I pressed this magical button of showing everything that was in this week, my internet connection wasn't going to completely crap out that second. Can you hit all for me in this week?
Sure. I wasn't sure if it had actually changed or because that is one of them.
Is it?
Yep, I went ahead and added it because I think
okay, fair enough then.
I think it's a pretty good one to have in there,
Okay, so should we start with Orbital Children then?
Sure. This is actually one we just recently covered as part of, was it the 3 episode? Or was it the 6 episode?
Yeah. We didn't cover it in the
3.
6th episode because it was finished, so...
Yeah. So when we started covering the very beginning of this season, this was one of the ones we talked about because it was fully available at the time. It is, I believe, we settled on a bit of an acquired taste because you have to like sci-fi. You have to like kind of slightly hard sci-fi. But if you do, you're probably gonna love this. So that's why I think you don't have to know a lot about an anime to watch this thing.
Okay, Cleo, what drew you to Orbital Children? What are your thoughts and feelings about it?
No, I added this one.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I wanted to talk about Cleo stuff.
Oh, I told you I added a couple of them myself.
Oh my god, right, okay.
So it's just this one and this one that I added. The rest of these are all...
Right,
oh, no, and this one. Sorry, and this one.
You're confusing the crap out of me. Completely ruining the show there.
What Orbital Children is. Should I be scared?
Apologies.
It's really good, but yes.
Right.
Bit of a mix up there.
Let's make this life a bit easier.
Let me get rid of those.
Bleach.
All right.
No, just go to Bleach.
Right.
Right. And what you call it? Cleo. What drew you to Bleach?
I thought it was a bit weird starting with me.
I was 13 years old when I watched Bleach. I was an edgy teenager. I loved every single bit of it. I drew so much. That's where I first started to learn to draw, was drawing Bleach characters. So like Hollow Ichigo was like one of my favorite characters I would draw at the time. Because like that shit was edgy.
Jeez.
Well, we cannot say that you haven't progressed since then, because leaps and bounds on from that beginning.
Yeah.
We look at your artwork now and think, ooh.
I hate the fact that the way I draw eyes is like was influenced by the way Bleach eyes are drawn.
I don't think that's a problem. One of Tita Kubo's particular specialty is those particular sharp eyes.
Yeah,
So,
I fucking love that shit.
I really like them, so it's one of the things I do appreciate about your artwork too.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, that's like the strong jawline, straight nose, heart, like powerful, striking eyes. It's still in my art today.
So, was there any element to the narrative at all, or is this just purely the art form?
Purely visual, I think. It was just entirely visual. I'm a very visual person, so
I can
that's what
see
drew me
that.
to Bleach at first.
Yeah, the visuals are definitely very striking.
Yeah, like fucking love that image we got up there now. Fucking edgy. Ooh, love it.
Definitely, he's a master of those pose actions. So you've got the action scene, you can see all the movement, but it's clearly just posed for effect.
Yeah.
Compared to something like Dragon Ball Z, there's so much more going on here.
Yeah, far less of the just dodging the punches left or right. It's actually big movements, big sweeps, and lots of yelling at each other.
So
Yeah.
So I have a recommendation, right? It's I think it's still on Netflix. I'm going to recommend Castlevania.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I've seen parts of Castlevania. I think I'm up to season 2 of Castlevania. I haven't finished it.
Right.
And so far, what do you think?
I think it's bloody amazing, and I need to finish it.
Yep, I completely agree on that one.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's got very strong animation to it. It's it has very, very strong connotations to Western style of animation with it's the way it does combat and things like that. I feel that this would be really up your alley.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. I just need to get around to finishing it. But yeah,
Yep.
the art style is it's amazing. It's beautiful. Like the amount of intricacy in detail, yet being able to convey this complex animation with so much detail is like astonishing to me.
Yeah, and they don't really skimp on it anywhere either. I don't. There's maybe a couple of places where they lose some detail because it's so fast, but I'd be hard pressed to point out one of them because it's so focused on everything else.
Yeah.
I also feel that one of the things that really speaks to the complexity of the art form is the level of detail they go into the eyes, where they do the tear ducts and everything, and it's just like there's honestly I can't think of a single other anime that comes to mind where they do the tear ducts as well.
Yeah, that's right. I love the detail of the tear ducts. I think it's cool.
It's very unnecessary, but at the same time, just you can't help but not appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's the kind of attention to detail that you only usually get in movies, animated movies, where you actually have the higher budget, the higher on-model demand and everything. It's kind of impressive.
Oh, just look at that. What's her name? I forget her name. She's such a cool character. Is it Camilla?
Yes.
Camilla.
Yes.
Yeah, Camilla.
Well
I'm just looking at her with the harsh eyebrows and the beautiful eyes. Oh.
You can even tell that she's furrowing her brow.
Yeah.
And then of course you have the vampire himself. I'm not sure if you saw on YouTube, there was one of those collaborative themed video production things where they had one villainous scene. And, all the, content creators would pick out from a movie or a series the scene that they think really kind of sums up a villainous scene about the series, that makes the series or movie. And one of my favourite was done on Castlevania, with our dear Dracula being a real villain. Now, if you've only got to season 2, I can't spoil anything. But it's one of those things. You watch the series, then you watch that summary, and everything that they put into this show clicks just that little bit more. I mean, I love the fact that they spend the first intro to the series not being anything to do with our heroes, not being anything to do with the world as it is right now, but being the background on our villain. Being his not quite humanizing, but understanding of him. And again, very few series really go into that much detail and go into that much depth. Usually their villain is just, he's the bad guy, he wants to rule the world or destroy the world.
Yeah, they really flesh out the character from the get-go, and I love that.
Right.
Does anyone have anything else that they want to add to this off the back of Bleach?
I think that for the animation style, you might not appreciate it as much, but I'd like to recommend a show that kind of comes from that kind of genre. And that is a bit mainstream. It's Soul Eater.
Oh.
Which,
oh my god, I forgot to mention I have seen Soul Eater! Oh, I forgot! I love that one! It's so good!
There you go.
Yeah!
No, I don't think we have
actually really love the art style of that one. But it's so Halloween-y and fantastical.
Indeed.
I love it.
And completely off the wall with its visuals. The moon is always a half moon, but it's got a smile and it's actually dripping blood from its mouth.
Yeah, I love that.
What is that in terms of meaning? But the show just works with it there.
It's got class. Is the way I describe it. It's got a distinct visual language that I'm on top of.
Yeah, it may be completely, as I say, it may be completely off the wall, but each character, you can see where they're coming from with every single one of them. You've got your, main character being an aggressive, no-nonsense woman with a scythe, but she's also still in training and still looking up to the mentor that is Death. I don't know why Death has gigantic, goofy gloves on him, but again, it works. It's a visual that, in this setting, works.
Yeah.
Part of
Man,
me...
I can't believe I forgot about Solida. Oh, man. Could I? That's like one of my favorites.
Glad I got the recommendation right then. It was just going to be a throwaway to say, maybe if you haven't watched it, watch this next. But hey, I'm glad it was right.
Part of me, purely just from an artistic standpoint, wants to kind of suggest Gankutsuo, but it's such a different story that I'm probably gonna say give it a miss.
Oh yeah.
Because we're talking about more actiony ones, and it's based on the Count of Monte Cristo, so it's a very slow, sort of quieter narrative.
No, I think you should.
You think I should?
I think you should. Yeah, do it.
I'm all for that. Yeah.
All right. Well, so
broaden your horizons.
Yeah, as you can see already, like the clothing is just insane.
Oh, is that the from the? Yeah, it is from the anime. Okay.
Yeah.
What the texture? Oh my god.
Yeah. But there's still like a lot of detail there, even though it's focused on this very flashy appearance. There's still quite a bit of detail in like the way the hair falls, the cut of the coats, and the faces. A very different story, like I said, because it's a very slow. It's about a man's revenge plot that takes literally like a generation to pull off. And so you've got this much. There is kind of a.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
There is like a very sharp crescendo, but yeah, it's a very artsy piece.
Oh man, that looks so good.
Yeah,
getting some inspiration there.
Yeah, I fucking love the way they use texture in this. It's so cool. I fucking love that background as well.
He's kind of like a vampire, but not a vampire, so it does kind of fit into that thing too. Yeah.
Cool. Should we move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm trying to quickly scroll back up to this week. Tokyo Ghoul.
Oh, Parasyte was next, I thought.
Nuh-uh.
You want to do Tokyo Ghoul instead?
Yeah. I want to do Tokyo Ghoul.
You want to do Tokyo Ghoul? All right.
I'm
Let's do Tokyo Ghoul then.
Don't make me turn this show around.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay. So, Cleo, tell us what drew you to Tokyo Ghoul. What do you like about it? So on and so forth.
So instead of being 13, I watched this when I was, I think, 14 or 15, around there. So this was my next rendezvous into the next anime. Again, probably similar to Bleach, where it's edgy, it's gritty, it's bloody, it's got a lot of action. I did read the manga for this as well. I got a fair bit in, but I haven't finished the manga. It's been a while. Yeah, it's just like the edgy, gritty stylization. I did enjoy the plot as well. I like the idea of the ghouls and they got like their own organs in them that make their own weapons out of. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Isn't this one like super, super bloody?
Is it? It is bloody. Is it super bloody? Probably.
Seem bloodier.
I remember the manga being more brutal than the anime.
Yeah, but that's the usual.
Exactly.
When it's in motion, they do reduce quite a lot of the gore, which is it's surprising on some of them that the gore actually could be, that the gore we see is actually reduced from the manga.
Okay, I do have a recommendation, but I need to put in some like really strong stipulations here. Right? Okay. So, recommendation off of the back of Tokyo Ghoul is Goblin Slayer. However, it is not for the faint of heart. It has very strong themes. So like
most of them concentrated in the first episode.
Yeah,
that is
they
true.
do come up quite a lot after.
So like if you are not one for themes of an adult nature, right? Like, you know, not to take light of things like sexual assault, then this is probably not the show for you. However, if you can appreciate, you know, how nasty those things are and still be able to watch something, I think Goblin Slayer is honestly a very strong watch.
I would say that those things are... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Thaylien, you first.
I would say it's exceptionally strong for the world building. They have to establish that these consequences for failure exist, and with that risk on the line at all times, that's where the rest of the story kicks off.
Yeah, I would say that it's appropriately shocking and not played for shock value. Like it should shock you, but it's not like it's important that you get this context for the world.
Right. I was worried it will lean too much into like the ecchi. I mean, probably more than ecchi. Probably like the lewd side of things. I was like, I probably won't like because of that. If it's more like world building, if it's more like gritty, then I probably would enjoy it.
There's, I think, 2 characters played for a little bit of the ecchi, but only in the most limited value, you know, in their character building.
And it's not related at all to that part of the show.
Yeah, so the girl that he lives with is played a little bit for the ecchi.
Yeah,
she is very well endowed, and I think she's introduced by bursting out of her window wearing her underwear.
Yeah.
Thereafter, it's, you know, that was just an introduction to her as the character.
Fan service, yeah.
Yeah, but
it doesn't happen a lot.
It's so unrelated to yeah. I mean, I don't want to say it's unrelated as in they could take it out. It is important. Again, it's sort of important to show that side of his life, but it's disconnected from the other nasty things. It's not. There's no juxtaposition there, really.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll give it. It sounds like something that I'll give it a go. Yeah.
Okay. There is another show I have, but I'm not quite sure if it fits your taste. I'm gonna give it a go, and that is the Guyver, right? It is in the sense of Tokyo Ghoul, where effectively you've got these ghouls that need to hide amongst human society. You have something very similar in the Guyver, where you know, shows like the Power Rangers and Masked Rider or Kamen Rider and things like that. So the Guyver is very similar to those sorts of tokusatsu series, where it's kind of like villain of the week, but it goes away from that after like the first 5 episodes. And the premise is that this one kid just purely accidentally comes across this bioweapon that is a suit of armor called the Guyver. And he is then hunted by a secret organization who is out to claim the armor, to, like, you know, strip it away from him and, you know, use it for their own nefarious means. But it really gets dark and grim to the point of, like, he can't go to school anymore because they know his secret identity. He has to basically go on the run with his friends and family, because if he can't protect them at all times, you know, God knows what's going to happen to them. And yeah, so it depends if you're up for that sort of like initial villain of the week thing, or if it's like, this sounds too much like Power Rangers. Like, no, I'm going to give them this.
And the psychological aspect behind it sounds enticing to me.
Yep.
I have a recommendation that's not going to be on the list.
Okay.
Again, mostly because it plays a shock value, but it commits to always doing the shock value. And it's the same kind of vein as the Tokyo Ghoul thing, but in a much more concentrated story. That is Elfen Lied. It's
Actually, I think
I wouldn't say it's a great anime. But it's a solid one for the value of a society where these horrible things exist, and people will die in horrible ways because of it.
So to give more context to the scenario, basically there's come into existence a new breed of human. I cannot remember their classification, but they are terrifying. They have horns, like the small horns protruding from the sides of the head, and they always have pink hair, and they have these effectively invisible arms called vectors, and they can just tear things to pieces with their vectors. They
are incredibly strong, flexible. They can block bullets. It's as long as they're in the right place. They're not always that fast, but
and they're invisible.
They are completely invisible, and it is kind of terrifying to have these people around that just can rip concrete out of the floor and tear humans to shreds. So, of course, they get hunted or locked up, and they are... Well, again, the story is concentrated. It's mostly centered around their original, their queen, as it were, and the story that she has in relation to a completely normal human. It's fairly tragic.
It is very tragic. Like, the manga ends on such a more sour note. If anyone has actually read it or heard what the ending is, but the one thing I will say is that the narrative of Elfen Lied spans over just like a few days. It's not overly fast paced, and I feel it suffers from the time it came out, where it was like very much Elfen Lied, I gotta get this to go, it's fucking amazing, it's anime, the anime I can get, so good. I honestly can't tell if it's aged well. I really can't.
No, it's an odd one. I'd say I wouldn't call it great, but it's definitely a solid entry in the list, and it was made for the shock value and plays it like that every time. There's no real, apart from the story of it, every scene of action is definitely done for the violence, for the gore. There is no let up in that.
Oh, here's a point. There is a non-zero amount of nudity in it.
Yeah. Especially the first episode.
That's true of Goblin Slayer too, isn't it?
I think in Goblin Slayer it's actually censored by the camera angles and things.
Or just like but there's very little amounts of it in Goblin Slayer, whereas Elfen Lied, there's at least a section every episode, and it's not.
Again, the show is done for the shock value, so there will be nudity, there will be violence, there will be blood everywhere, and there is that psychological side of things as well, where our poor normal human, his tragic story is all the more tragic because of the friendship he tried to have with this person.
On on a completely random tangent, I want to ask Thaylien just a sly question about Elfen Lied. And I don't think it has huge any spoiler connotations or anything like that. But was Lucy the first?
I believe she's the queen.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's actually outwardly stated if she is or not. I can't remember, but anyway. Right. I don't know if Nasuth has... I don't know if Cleo, do you have any questions about anything we've said so far, or...
No, I'm good. I'm pretty Gucci. Yeah.
Pretty just absorbing it all in.
Yeah, I'm just taking it all in. I can feel the weeb in me growing.
Good.
Nurture that
Undulating.
Flow.
Right.
Pulsing.
Nasuth, do you have anything? Do you have anything?
I don't know. I don't think I was thinking of either Akira or Attack on Titan, but I don't think either of those really fully fit into the idea. So I'm probably I don't think I really have any.
As a thing, we should be recommending Akira anyway.
You really, yeah.
Well,
I noticed that you put any of the
like
Ghibli movies, but
that I haven't seen Akira yet.
Well, I was thinking off the back of Parasyte Akira. So should we
there we go. That's a good
go
one.
with Parasyte. It's on your list, Cleo. So, what really got you about Parasyte? What did you appreciate about it the most?
I'm starting to realize a common theme amongst the animes I watch, and it's body horror.
Yeah, I noticed that when I was reviewing
There's
them.
a lot of body horror going on. I just noticed that. I guess that's something I am interested in, is that aspect. The psychological aspect of it too.
It does seem to be that fun thing of right there in that particular preview. Is it? Oh no! I appear to have been stabbed.
He's just a kid from high school, and his hand turns to an alien, and it's just watching him just suffer with this new circumstances is entertaining to me.
Poor dumb bastard. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is another one where I also read the manga. I did finish the manga for this one and loved it.
Okay. So Nasuth. Oh, Nasuth.
Oh, Berserk would have been a good one for. It's too late now.
Do you want to do Akira? Well, you could do both.
Yeah. So let's do Akira because, that really fits in with the idea of the whole body horror thing. And it also comes from an era when anime was super detailed. So they really stress the details of what's going on with these people when they start to change.
Right there. Look at that scene right there. Every single bit of machinery is outlined. Every single rock in the air is animated individually.
So
one of the hardest things to draw is like mechanical hard surface things like that, and to see it animated is just insane to me.
Yeah, I believe it. So yeah, the basic story is that they're living in Tokyo after there was some disaster, and
World War III.
No, it wasn't. It was Akira's first rising.
Yes, it looked like a nuke in the opening.
It does look like a nuke, yes.
But we find out later on what it really was.
And so it centers on these kids who are growing up in this very authoritarian world. But there's also like a government thing, government project going on to try and enhance people in some way. And one of our characters gets caught up in this. Actually, I mean, two of them, but one of them gets really caught up in it. And so by the end, we're seeing lots of he goes out of control, and it's just his body is mutating crazily, and it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Let's put some context on this. It's a movie that if you watch it a couple of times, you see what the overarching plot is. But for the most part, we are centered around our main character there, who is a delinquent schoolboy who leads a biker gang. And he gets caught up in events that are a little bit beyond all his control. When government secrets come to light, when the fallout from Akira, the character, comes to light, and his best friend Tetsuo is basically even more caught up in everything, and starts to.
He becomes an actual subject of the government programs.
Yes, he gets really pulled into that, and almost you could say he's almost infected with the results of that.
Yeah,
and it gets much bigger than anything a normal person can get a hold of, and eventually everything has to be taken out of this world almost, to prevent it from getting even worse and causing another disaster.
Secret government conspiracy. Oh, it sounds so good. I can't believe I haven't seen it yet. It sounds right up my alley.
So I feel that it needs to be stipulated this isn't a film you can watch realistically a one and done. It's not like a Marvel movie where like I absorbed everything. Or it's
a bit more intelligent than that.
Yeah,
yeah.
It really is. So
there's subtle clues you don't see until you've watched it.
Until you look for them.
Yeah, until you actually know what the ending is and can go back and look for what was happening behind it.
When I watched this, it's over 10 years ago, for the first time, I was very much, this is okay. It's just like, artistically, it looks fucking amazing. I couldn't really truly appreciate it. One, because, I hadn't, had enough life experience to truly grasp what was going on. And the other one, it was just like, when I watched it again relatively recently, I was just like, holy shit, they pack so much in this movie. And again, it kind of suffers from the fact that because you're watching it for the first time, you can't take it all in.
This could so easily be a 12-episode series.
Easily, right? I think if they were to do a anime of this, like an actual series of it would probably do it a little bit. Well, I would do it different amounts of justice. Like they wouldn't be able to do some of the high quality animation.
I'd go against that because I think spreading it out would allow too much time to focus on the background stuff, and you wouldn't be able to just figure it out for yourself as you do by watching it a couple of times. I think it's much smarter done by leaving so much of that in the background and concentrating on the story of just the characters we meet.
But the problem is that a lot of people won't necessarily watch something more than once.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. So if you go in going like, okay, I'll watch this and I'll probably watch it again in like a year or two's time, then honestly, it is such an iconic movie though. It's such a classic that this fits well.
Yeah, definitely need to watch this.
And then I think Nasuth, you want to talk about next?
Yeah, it was for the previous category. When we were talking about so I won't touch on it very much. But yeah, if you're looking for kind of one of those that sort of gritty, brutal look at a world, this is definitely one of them that you could. There's a lot of blood. There's a lot of darkness. There's they're living in a dystopian sort of demon-infested world. It's a good one, but yeah, definitely not for this category. For the previous one.
There's gremlins coming out of the wall.
The famous scene from Berserk.
Yes.
That's everybody.
Yeah, there's some sexual abuse going on in more than one case.
One of those shows that I love because the whole plot is almost okay. You know how with DC Comics and everything, the same story always comes up again and again. Every Batman movie, we hear about how his parents died, right?
Again,
but that single action defined the entire character, defined the entire series going forward. everything is built around that particular moment. And in a sense, Berserk is like the exact same. The entirety of the build-up and the entirety of the actual show that follows it is based around this one linchpin scene that is designed to be truly horrifying to the character.
But that scene wouldn't be as impactful without the sum of everything that came before.
Yes, and you wouldn't ever understand the character without that, but also without that scene. The character himself only makes sense because of that scene. Well, thereafter. The build-up before, that's, all coming from the build-up to the scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's once that hits, the entire rest of the timeline suddenly makes, that you couldn't have had it any other way.
Yeah.
So I want to challenge my co-hosts here, because I started watching Berserk many years ago, and I put it down because I felt it was too slow. Right?
It does have an element of that.
You could get around that by watching the Golden Arc trilogy that they came out with in the early 2010s, I think. Because that squishes it all down a lot. It condenses it a lot tighter.
Isn't that also the one with the CGI animation?
the
No,
one where they
the series, not
the
the
JPEG and moved around with a mouse. I remember seeing something like that.
So, the question I have for my co-hosts is Berserk the series something that you could basically put on the TV and leave it going while potentially doing art projects, or is this one that you should pay attention to even though it's slow?
I think this is one that you can put on while doing art projects, but will grab your attention away from them for the important bits.
Yeah.
It actually is the scenes that are important to watch are genuinely, they're telegraphed and built up to.
Okay.
So a lot of it you don't really have to watch. It's more about the interaction between the characters and how they speak and how they don't speak to each other. The actual action scenes and the bits that really need to express visually, those will be really clear that they're building up. They'll have musical cues, they'll have stings, they'll have dramatic build-ups to them. So it's actually a really clear series to watch, I find.
I'd say all of it's important, but yeah, there's definitely some very pivotal scenes that you really need to pay attention to.
Gotcha.
Okay, so going back to off the back of Parasyte.
Yes.
Because I did genuinely think that's where you're going with this.
No, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Thaylien, do you have anything to go off the back of Parasyte?
No, well, kind of, but not actually. No, I would go back in time with it, because Parasyte, for the body horror things, the living with the alien hand, not really the same, but how should I put it, the kind of way that the hero has to adapt to a completely new thing. I would actually go back to something like Yu Yu Hakusho, which is another one of those shonen morning TV kind of cartoons, but it has those elements that really go through a finding out you have to be something else. Another world opens up. In this case, literally, but and you have to manage to deal with a whole set of new things going on, of new people, new dark sides to everything. And it's not the same themes, but it contains a lot of the same elements, I think.
Okay.
I mean, do you see what I mean, at all, or Nasuth? anything?
I've never watched Yu Yu Hakusho.
You've never?
I've never seen it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So Yu Yu Hakusho, the main character dies, basically, and he becomes a ghost, but he's not a normal state of ghost. He has to learn to use his abilities as a ghost to basically combat the evil of the other world. So, is using his own spiritual force to basically get into combat, almost Bleach-like, in the same way that Bleach, they become Shinigami and combat the evil spirits. In this, it's just his own soul. It's his own being and the power that a person can generate that way. And yeah, but it has that same kind of effect that Parasyte did, where it's kind of sprung on an ordinary person, and everybody they then meet is no longer ordinary. Their own power can be dangerous, their own power, but it's the elements there. The themes, yeah, that's way more like the classic kind of Naruto and everything else. It's a more mainstream kind of anime for Shonen Jump kind of stuff.
Right.
But it's something to look into if you're able to. I wouldn't say that's,
if you already like shonen action and you like that sort of twist of a character having to deal with something they're not used to, that makes everything, that changes everything.
Yeah.
I'm looking through what we've got. Honestly, I cannot think of a single thing. Why has it gone to Pacific Rim?
I don't know. Should it still be on Parasyte?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Oh, nice and gruesome. Story, I like it.
Okay.
Tentacle heads.
Unless my co-hosts have anything else to add, should we add on? Should we go on to the next one?
No, I think that's pretty good.
Carry on.
Okay. So, Erased.
No. That was one of mine. Demon Slayer is next.
Oh my god, are you killing me?
I told you.
Demon Slayer.
All right.
I can't remember things. That's hard.
Yeah, these guys love Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer.
Yes.
Inosuke! Fucking
Oh,
Inosuke's
yes.
one of my favorite characters. He's such a goblin man. I love him.
Okay. So, what drew you to Demon Slayer? And So tell us your feels about Demon Slayer.
So my boyfriend introduced me to Demon Slayer, and got me back into anime as well. So, I've been meaning to watch Demon Slayer for a while, and the art style is just, it's beautiful. I love it. Gorgeous art style. Love the language of it. I also love the characters are really interesting and lovable as well. Like in Inosuke, for example, I fucking love it. Tantra's just wholesome. They're all great. Yeah.
There's only one I don't
Also,
like.
the demon aspect of it too. Oh, hey, it's Michael Jackson.
Yes. Oh, he's so cool. He's so cool.
Yeah.
Thaylien,
love it.
What was your dislike, Nasuth? You said you didn't like one of them.
I can't remember his name. It's the one that's blonde and yellow and
Net dude?
Yes.
Yeah.
He just
a bit
annoys me.
Yeah.
I know he's there for comic relief, but it's just
He's supposed to have some redemption with what he does, but all that did for me was make him not completely horrible. It's like he may be bad, but at least he did these things, rather than he's awesome, but he's temporarily a whiner. But I think they got the balance a bit wrong with him.
You're talking about the fact that he goes to sleep and he does his special move, but it's not his conscious thing. Like it's not him doing it, right? It's like not consciously. So it doesn't add to the personality?
Yeah.
I think it might actually be a second personality, like, a subconscious personality, so to speak. because you actually see a lot more about it with the movie Mugen Train.
Yeah.
So, some like a layer of him that's more
It's a
self-aware.
Dissociative kind of situation more than a personality thing. And
Right.
I think the fact that he, I just don't think that it does enough for him as a character to redeem how genuinely annoying he can be.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I have 2 shows that I can recommend off the back of this. I feel like I'm going to recommend one of them, and then Cleo's going to say, "Oh, I've seen that already."
Yeah, my memory is something special.
Okay, so the first one I'm going to recommend is Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood.
I have not seen Fullmetal Alchemist.
Okay, I was actually expecting you to turn around and say, "Oh, I've already seen this one. It's really good."
No,
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
So, for a start, there's 2 different Fullmetal Alchemist series, right? There's Fullmetal Alchemist, which was done in 2002, I think. And then there was Brotherhood, that was done in 2009. Do not watch the original, right? For the love of God.
Okay, watch Brotherhood.
Yeah,
Noted.
so
This is not like a Helsing kind of.
Oh yeah, I've also seen Helsing. I forgot about that.
Helsing and Helsing Ultimate. Those 2 tell slightly different versions of the same story, but no, that's not. That's not the case here. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is genuinely just the better series.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So basically, they ran out of manga after the 2nd volume, which was like episode 8 or so in the original series, and they basically made it up as they went along. People say that they had the help of the author and things, but I'm like, yeah, okay, it's so drastically different. But Brotherhood, honestly, is so they didn't do Brotherhood until the manga had finished, and it is phenomenal, right? It has that, it has like the playfulness with the 2 brothers, Edward and Alphonse. It has the serious tones that, again, span the whole series. It's a long, overarching plot line. It's finished, right? So that's going for it. Unlike Demon Slayer, where we now have to wait for the 3rd season. But I
love the fact that it doesn't shy away from the anime styles of comedy. I mean, you get those moments of it. You see they're going to do a pratfall because of something somebody said, but it doesn't seem too out of place. They've actually got enough of a balance with all the characters that they can be serious in one moment and they can be silly in the next moment. But that's just because the actual situation demands it. It's actually really well balanced as a drama and comedy show.
Yeah. I can't. It is quite like adult themed. It does talk about things like war and slavery and stuff like this, but it doesn't. I can't. Apart from one character, I cannot think of particularly any fan service, and even then, the fan service is quite tame. It's just an all round like.
It's just a really good story.
Yeah, it was topping the charts for years after its release, and now I think even now it's still in like the top 10 of best anime ever. So yeah, this is definitely one that I recommend. If you couldn't tell with a title such as Fullmetal Alchemist, it's about alchemy.
Alchemy's pretty cool. I like alchemy.
And nothing else.
Yeah. No. So
definitely nothing else.
Right.
So yeah. So this is one I would definitely recommend checking out. And then the next one, which is quite possibly a complete and utter, other side of the coin, is One Punch Man Season 1.
Yes.
which I feel. Yeah.
Most of my friends, my entire friend group, pretty much has seen One Punch. Is it One Punch Man or One Piece? What did you say again? Sorry.
One Punch Man.
One Punch Man. Oh, I thought you said One Piece. I'm so sorry. No,
You're
One
fine.
Punch Man. Yeah. No, it's something else.
So One Punch Man is very much a Japanese take on the superhero boom that's pretty much kicked off in the West since, oh god, I can't remember when the manga first started coming out. You know,
Which
I think,
one? Isn't it the original, which was like pretty
okay,
rough, to say the least?
yes.
There is an artist, he calls himself One, and he's set up this fun little gimmick that he likes, which is having a main character that is obviously incredibly powerful, and then putting him in a situation where everybody else has to react to him.
Yeah.
So, in this particular case, Saitama here is basically Superman, but in a world where nobody else is anywhere near equal to Superman.
And well, it's actually interesting because the villains are closer to Superman's level than the heroes are, right? And a lot of the heroes are just basically dudes in dress up, to pretending like they actually have skill, and they really just don't. So
a lot of them are just martial artists or people with unique. A rather inventive one was a guy that uses memory alloy to create a slingshot that can basically fire, arrows or bullets or anything else, because as he fires it, the metal regains its shape to what it actually was. Yeah, and turns into something like like darts, like steel spikes, anything that he could think he can use. It's that kind of thing. He's not really at the same level as even Hawkeye from the Marvel universe. It's not even up to that level, but it's inventive.
But that's one of the more throwaway characters. The narrative of One Punch Man follows our Superman character, who realistically doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, doesn't realize he's doing it without permission, and effectively kind of fucks it away. And his skills are so unbelievable that genuinely people refuse to acknowledge that he's the hero of the day. And it's a very, very interesting story. It's very well told. It's in the first season, particularly, which was done by Madhouse, is extremely well animated. They did a brilliant adaptation from the manga. Honestly, if you like the first season, I would recommend continuing the manga. I hate to say this, do not continue with the second season. They chop out so much of the manga in the second season, and it's just like, why did you do this? You chopped out all the good bits. Yeah.
But at the same time, it is still really well animated, really well done, even if it's disappointing for the way it cuts corners. The overall what if question is, what if somebody got so strong that there literally was nothing above, nothing more that he could do, no challenges left anymore? What if he just became so ridiculous that nothing's a challenge anymore?
It's time to punch God.
Well, he can't punch himself. But I will also add on that this is more of a comedy. This is more played for laughs than the serious tone of Demon Slayer.
Definitely. It's the other characters reacting to him, not anything serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do either of you have any recommendations?
I'm struggling, but I don't think I have one for this.
Okay, I will go for one that's a complete where Demon Slayer's fantasy. I'm going for science fantasy because it's one of my favorite old shows is Outlaw Star.
We have that. We have it right here.
We have that. Fantastic.
Outlaw Star.
Outlaw Star
know.
is a sci-fi where our main character, he starts off as a fairly run-of-the-mill small-time bounty hunter. Likes drinking, likes women, likes hanging out with his best friend who is his engineer who can fix cars and things. He's a bit flaky, he's a bit I'll just cross that bridge when I come to it. And they while his friend is young, serious, and wants to do things the right way, the two of them get caught up in the heist of the century kind of thing, which we don't even figure out is like the heist of the century. One of the pirates from outer space lands on their world, hiding from basically another gigantic conglomerate of pirates. She has with her a secret bit of technology, and she's just looking to refuel, fix herself up, and move on. And she hires our heroes to be her bodyguards for the time. Sounds simple, until the pirates actually catch up to her, and she's killed. The main character is killed as they try to go through with her plan to steal the most advanced ship in the galaxy. So our heroes just find themselves out in space with the most advanced ship in the galaxy and its component part, who is a android called Melfina.
I'd say a lot of people accuse this show of ripping off Firefly, and it's not fair. I don't think that's true. But I would say that there are a lot of similarities.
Did this come out before Firefly?
Yeah, Firefly came out in the 2000s, right?
Did it?
Yes. Outlaw Star 1988. I just looked it up, Nasuth, for that quip we had with Xeno about,
Well, maybe they thought Firefly was ripping this off then.
Probably. So it is, there's an overarching narrative to it. It's slightly episodic because they try to, sum up each little part of their adventure in one episode. But they're always looking for this end goal, which is to find
the treasure.
The great treasure at the galactic ley line. And the reason they can find it is because Melfina, the android, when connected to the Outlaw Star, can navigate those pathways to it. But of course, they need to find these pathways. They need to find their way to get to, key points. They even need to find out that this is all, possible. And they're doing it while being chased by pirates, while being outlaws themselves. So as you can see with the screenshot, the space police might want to arrest them as well, just for being outlaws. They need to get money. They need to actually, there's side players come in that help them out or hinder them as they want. And they pick up a crew as well. There's two other members of their crew. One is the greatest assassin in the galaxy, and the other is a really aggressive cat girl.
Oh no.
Really aggressive. She will crush you with her thighs.
Yes. And with everything else.
Yeah.
Aisha Clan will crush you. No one stops the invincible Katal.
Man, this anime is older than me.
Yeah.
God, you're young. Wow. No, it's really almost like a time capsule of the older anime. You get this animation style, you get the themes that go on with it, and they're not afraid to do the comedy side of things. But there's some really really touching episodes where, meeting on a space station, one of them meets up with a person they never met before. They get on well, they want to be friends, and we, the audience, are the only ones who ever know that their friend was actually one of the enemies that didn't recognize them, and they will never be friends because the conclusion of the episode is them fighting it out in space, and so they'll never meet and they'll never see each other again, because space combat is space combat.
I do agree with Thaylien that this is a really, really good show. It's classic. I will say that it definitely can't live up to the animation of Demon Slayer, mostly because the technology at the time. I mean, this is still hand drawn, for like, so it's just like it's still on cells. So There's
also, having watched it again recently, there's also quite a lot of filler, but the filler episodes are still good.
Yeah.
I thought this would be a good recommendation because it's got that same kind of camaraderie that you get with Demon Slayer. The main characters, they all have their own specialties. They all have their own stories to go through, and characters drop in and come back again. They leave, and they have their own story to tell as well. And the way it works out is a great interplay of characters, in a similar way to the way Demon Slayer does it. So I think that if you like that part, if you like the fact that Inosuke is a complete brickhead, then you'll like Aisha Clan.
Yeah, it's too true.
It's if you liked Shinobu, you'll like Melfina. If you like the idea that their main hero actually has no fucking clue what he's doing and is just a hot-headed doofus who's managed to get lucky so far, then you'll like Gene.
I think I need to wrangle this away from Thaylien.
Fair.
Because, as you can tell, he's very enthusiastic about Outlaw Star. But he does have a solid point. Right, should we move on to what is possibly your last one? Because
it is.
Okay.
It is.
Let's go to Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah.
Okay, so give us your notes. What drew you to it, so on and so forth.
Why is that?
So this is another one that my boyfriend introduced me to, and there's that body horror aspect to it again as well. Again, that plot point of just an average high schooler who gets into shenanigans that is probably not the greatest. Love the character development as well. The characters I love. Really,
can we pause for 2 seconds?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, it even worked this time.
So, even after this little segue of trying to work out why Nasuth broke it. Please remind me, what were we saying, Cleo? What was the likes, dislikes? I think you said your boyfriend got you into this.
Yeah, my boyfriend got me into Jujutsu Kaisen, and it's got all the things that I pretty much like. It's got that body horror. It's got that witty, paranormal stuff going on, and love the characters. I think it's really cool.
Okay. Hear me out. Right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, you like the supernatural stuff.
Yeah. Is that JoJo's
Bizarre Adventure? Okay, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Right.
JoJo Part 4, Golden Wind, best part.
I will never forgive the Japanese.
That's part
I
5.
knew
That's
that's
not
gonna
part 4.
get a reaction.
Golden Wind is part 5.
That's I was
come
referring
on.
to a very obscure meme
Oh,
amongst my
okay.
friend group where it's purposely getting it wrong.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Yep, I fell for it. So, how much do you know about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, apart from the fact that the Warframe community went nuts over it?
Was it Part 5? Is the Giovanni, is that his name? Is that Part 5?
Giorno Giovanni. Yeah, that's part 5.
I've seen a bit of Part 5 and heard a bunch of stuff from my friends who also are way more into anime than I am. So like surface level knowledge.
Okay, so
You know the memes.
Yes,
Did you
I know
watch
the
it just for
references.
memes? Right. So, part 1 and 2 are different from the rest of JoJo. So, part 1 and 2 is actually just season 1, right? I typically refer to parts only because it's easier to understand what's going on, because part 3, which was Stardust Crusaders, was actually split over 2 seasons. And in Japan, they recognize it as 2 seasons, but in the West, they recognize it as 1. It just gets like a mess. So it's easier to go by parts, right?
Okay.
So parts 1 and 2 are very different from 3 and on, right?
Yeah.
So 1 and 2 is all about using this special manipulation of Harmon, right? This
It's
wave,
basically
this
ki.
spiritual wave. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. And it's the weapon used to kill vampires, right? And I'm sure you've seen the meme everywhere, which is it's me. So it was me, Dio. Dio ends up becoming the main villain of the JoJo lineage. He, in the first season, it happens fairly early on, he becomes a vampire and makes multiple appearances across the different generations of JoJo. And that's one of the best things about the show. So JoJo is a Shonen Jump manga that, you know, much like One Piece, much like Dragon Ball Z, much like Naruto, Bleach, so on and so forth, been running for a very long time.
Yeah.
And hasn't fallen into the trap, certainly Dragon Ball Z has, where the characters become OP as fuck, right? Like, I mean, when you actually have a transformation sequence that has God in the name, surely you've got to realize that your power system has gone a little too far. So,
Okay, just small diversion on that one.
Sure.
I'm actually really pleased. The God transformation there, I actually feel was really back to what they wanted from the beginning of it, because they hit their power cap, they hit the limit of what they could do with all these different transformations, so they decided to use something that is, in theory, completely different. It's a different way of using their power, a different way of going through, and it actually took away for a large part of it the constant leveling up thing, because it was a divergence from the path of just more and more and more power. It's a branch they have to go up, which has let out a few other things.
I would also say that it's also only the god of the Super Saiyans, and they are so dumb that their god cannot possibly be that great.
Where is that? They even went into this thing with Ultra Instinct, which is again, that's something you can achieve without ever being anything like a Super Saiyan. It's yet another path. So they're actually branching out of these different power things.
Oh yeah, even though Vegeta and Goku have blue hair, they both have different forms of blue hair. So one of them is blue and one of them is sapphire.
Okay. Right. I'm pointing out right now. This is how crazy those can get. Right?
Yes.
You guys
says the man with stand powers.
No. Right. You've made
There
my
is a
point
difference
for
quite
me.
clearly there.
The whole point of the generational thing with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is that they don't want to allow characters to get too powerful. There is one character that I'd argue is the most powerful of them all, right? By resetting the generation, it allows them to start again. How this new character has a different subset of powers, how they can use their powers in different ways, so on and so forth. That really makes the hero's journey able to complete, unlike things like One Piece, which is recently had its 1000th episode and they're still trying to find their fucking treasure, right?
Is the manga still going?
Yes.
Manga is still going.
Oh my god.
Right.
In this one, they could have a goal for each person and have them achieve it.
Yes. So they do actually achieve it. So you can actually watch one season of JoJo and go, I feel sated. Never to watch. You will always watch. Never to watch JoJo. But it's like you will actually.
So to support your point, Xeno, one of the fun things that having the generational thing goes for is that each person has to solve problems in a different way. And there is always the case that with the way they handle their powers, there will always be a power that is still going to be dangerous to them. It's still going to be problematic, that they have to figure out a way around, that they have to do something different with. And it's very rarely just getting more power. It's actually based around understanding what somebody else's power is and working around that, which, is... Yeah, that's on your point completely. Yeah.
So, off the back of Jujutsu Kaisen, it like Jujutsu Kaisen has fun moments, fun silly moments, a lot of exploration of characters, a lot of power growth.
Mr. Friendo!
But was it Jennifer Lawrence? There you go.
Yeah.
But JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, it has very similar tones and moods and things. The difference between Jujutsu Kaisen and JoJo is JoJo will crank it up to 11 and keep it stuck on. Like, look how hench these characters are, right? That guy
isn't he like 15?
Yeah.
No, he's
at the start. Yes,
he's 17, right?
Oh.
So Jotaro,
no teenager.
Yeah, and it's just like the guy's like 6'2". I'm like, Jesus Christ, what? You fucking like snorting? Oh god, protein powder or something?
Yeah.
Fucking,
and amazingly, throughout the entire thing, just like in the manga, you do not find out where his hat ends and his hair begins.
I love that. It's just a little nuance thing to it. Yeah.
Good grief.
Like it's so the Jotaro, which was the JoJo in that one, he makes multiple appearances. I've got to say, the Jotaro in part 3 is by far the best because he is getting younger, right? Like it's been 20 years, and he looks younger than his fucking daughter, right? And it's just like, what the shit is going on? Why are you getting smaller and younger? So, regardless,
Benjamin Button disease.
Oh fuck knows, man. But again, one of the best ones was Golden Wind, which is part 5 with Xenogelion. Actually, so one of the really interesting. So I'm going to nerd out for a second. One of the really interesting things is the reason why JoJo in part 5 is GIO, right? Is because in the Italian alphabet, they've only recently adopted the letter J from the English alphabet. It didn't actually have J, so you would actually pronounce GIO as Jo, right? So it's JoJo, and it's like again, like what's the author's name? I think it's Aramaki, right? He went to the length of actually fucking looking that up, right? He actually got that right. Whereas the majority of people are just like, no, it's J. It's just a J, you know. So
just look at the poses.
yeah. Also,
I mean, a lot of
Sorry,
research went into JoJo, right? Like all the like background or like actual set pieces from real life places and such.
They started in England and actually realised that English people play rugby.
Though,
and you compare that amount of research to the amount of absolute over-the-top silliness that happens. We will never get away from and the next thing you're going to say will be...
Yes, but I will also add in, unfortunately, and I do think he is an incredibly talented voice actor, Johnny Young Bosch cannot do a Liverpudlian accent to save his life.
Oh,
but
yeah.
so few people can. Like, if he did a true Liverpudlian accent, no one would understand a fucking clue what he would say. Because I've been to Liverpool, and I don't know what the fuck they're saying.
Let us not go to Liverpool. It is a city place.
Yeah, much like Camelot. Right, so that is my recommendation. Off the back of Jujutsu Kaisen is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah, worth a watch. I have one. I think I mentioned in the pause, which is kind of actually will be right up your alley with the body horror style thing. From that is Dead Man Wonderland.
Dead Man Wonderland. That sounds familiar. I think I've heard about
this one. Our main character, his classroom, I think, was blown up because he's been identified as one of the few people that could be put into this particular power set of people that can manipulate blood. And it's only their own blood, but they have the power to manipulate blood. And his classroom is blown up in order for him to be basically kidnapped and put into a whole load of arena fights in an underground facility. And if you win, you get given a whole bunch of money and also basically a sweet pill that allows you to survive longer. Because they will kill you off if you don't fight and win. And it's genuinely a kind of terrifying situation to be in. You get killed if you lose, you get killed if you don't win, you have to kill people in order to win, in order to keep your life going.
Sorry, can I just correct you on that? you get killed if you lose, you get killed if you don't win.
Yeah, there's the two distinct states. You get killed if you lose a fight, but if you don't get killed, if you don't win any fights, you're still gonna die because you don't win enough of the life-extending pills.
Right. So if you're killed during the fight, so it's not mandatory that you have to die. So like the other person could spare you, but if you don't win enough, you don't get the magic pill. Yes. Right. Okay. Sorry. Like it felt very much like people die when they're killed. Like,
yes.
I needed to clarify that one.
Yes. No. So you're basically damned if you do, damned if you don't. Our hero gets given a nickname to fight in the ring, and his power over blood is he can launch it as a projectile, whereas his people he fights against have the ability, as long as the blood is touching them, they can make blades out of it, or they can fly with wings made out of it. It's all about how they use their individual powers to win fights in the ring, but has this really dark side to it, where of course it's an arena match. There's people betting on this. There is a whole dark underground world that basically kidnapped him to force him into these fights, and he is a schoolboy. He's not even a teenager, I don't believe. I think he's about 12. And he's very young.
No, I think he's like 14 or something.
Oh yeah, but that's still very young. That's more than 2 decades younger than me. And you.
I mean, we don't need to out ourselves, Thaylien. So what Thalien's saying is actually really accurate. Dead Man Wonderland is a really, really good series. The sad truth, I have to pre-warn you with this one, they never finished it, right? You will get to the end and you're like, but next? Yeah, you know, so once you finish watching it, go read it, you know? So it was just like, what, weird, it just didn't, for some strange reason, it didn't take off in Japan. No idea why. It was such a good series. So, yeah.
Right. So the one I'm going to recommend doesn't really have much in the way of body horror, the way that, like, you know, Dio sticking his tubes into people, or
that's not a euphemism.
No, it's really not.
We're not going to rephrase that.
It's really not. But for, like, the sheer amount of camaraderie and, you know, the moments of humor mixed in with you know, crazy intense situations, I would say Gurren Lagann. It's I mean, yes. I mean, Gurren Lagann's ones you should probably watch anyway, even if it didn't sort of dovetail in with Jujutsu Kaisen. But if you know, it's got characters that are willing to do whatever they need to do in order to win, but not like to the point of sacrificing others. Like
never compromising who they are.
Yes, yeah, they will always do the right thing to the end, but it will mean they've still got to find a way to win. It's got crazy shonen moments. It's got, I mean, the sheer power, the sheer power of force of will and all that stuff.
Stupid.
Yeah. Stupid too. I mean,
yeah, if you believe in something hard enough, it'll happen.
Yeah, sheer bloody mindedness for the win.
Yeah, basically.
You could launch off that into a similar thing of Kill la Kill as well. That's
Kill la Kill is good, but it's a little harder. I think it's a little harder to get into.
Yeah, you would have to watch and appreciate Gurren Lagann first.
Like this one's weird, but it's still accessible. It doesn't like it. You don't have to know mech shows to still really like it.
It's mech shows, but it's a slight parody of them because
exactly.
The characters in the show have no idea what these are.
Yeah.
And look at the style of it. I mean, that's one of the midway points of the episode. Ad break sting to get your attention, but
still, it's not too far off from the rest of it.
Yeah, it is. Still, it looks a little bit more, flat anime style once you get there. But that at the essence of that style, they bring that to all of their characters.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised to say not one character in this is actually irritating.
And I also love that they're not
one character. There's one character that's irritating for a brief period of time.
Yes. Consistently irritating characters are not a thing in this. Once they
there's actual like character growth.
Whatever. Yeah, once they get through the character growth, everything's better. And of course, there's like the character interactions. These two are fantastic.
They're also not afraid to go to really sad places too. Like
yes,
there are at least a couple of moments I can think of where it's like, oh my god, you're breaking my heart.
Oh.
You want to feel for these characters. You want them to win. Everything they're going through, you absolutely want to have this happen.
Yeah, that's.
So no, honestly, it's the kind of show that you cannot go through anime without having seen. It's really worth it.
I would also say that there is some filler, but a lot of it is still what you still really should pay attention to most, if not all of it.
It's world building filler.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Xeno's gone.
Yeah,
Yes.
we've lost Xeno.
We're going to have to pause a little bit once we're done here.
All right. Do we have anything more to say about Gurren Lagann?
I don't think so, but I think the lead on is if you watch and like Gurren Lagann, I think Kill la Kill might be a good next stop for you.
Initially, I had trouble getting into Kill la Kill, but then I watched it again like last year, and I loved it. So yeah.
But I think we should pause here for a bit.
Right.
All right,
We return.
Did you have anything to say about Gurren Lagann, before we get into anything else?
You guys covered it all. So,
Awesome.
Right. So what we're gonna do now is just just out of place recommendations, some honorable mentions that we think would be up Cleo's alley, that don't really fit the theme of what she's already watched, and then we'll start moving on with the rest of the show. So, I have one lined up. I don't know if you two need time to think. So
I
will
saw
go
on the list that Nasuth is going through, so I'm ready for mine.
All right.
Okay.
I think I'm pretty good too.
The first one I'm going to go with, I don't know why you've stopped on that one, is konosuba, right? In all honesty, this show is fucking hilarious. And it slowly over time escalates. So you may have heard of the term isekai. It's where an individual gets transported to another world. This show came about before it was after the popularity boom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the popularity.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a
Sword Art Online was kind of the first one, so yeah.
It's a fairly good partial parody of it, of the trope.
Yeah.
Isekai. So fucking hilarious, right? You have to let it build up, right? But this is a train that does not slow down. It just keeps getting faster and faster. It is hilarious. So basically, the premise is this school dropout effectively tries to save a girl who is about to get run over by truck-kun out in the countryside, except for it wasn't a truck, it was a tractor. And it wasn't going like 100 miles an hour, it was going maybe like 5. And he died, not from the tractor hitting him, but scared to death. So he pushed the girl out of the way and just died of, he was just scared to death. He just died.
And then he pooped his pants.
Peed his pants, but anyway. But he was presented with the ultimate offering. You could go to heaven, or you could go relive a new life in this other world and kill the demon lord and so on and so forth. And it is just a pure parody of the fantasy adventure where a character who has, modern day understandings of technology. Yeah, it's just fucking hilarious. I strongly recommend this show and its movie.
Yeah.
That's my honorable mention.
Isn't there another season coming very soon?
I don't know how soon is very soon. It could be a few years away, but there is a third season in the works, which got me excited.
It
Not
looks
in a
like
weird
we're
way.
perfectly censoring her boobs right now.
Yes, there should be nipples there, but there aren't in the anime. They are definitely still hidden.
Yeah. there is fan service in this.
Yeah.
But the show
for
is
sure.
the show is just too stupid to
The endless
ignore it.
The endless question of Aqua's skirt.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the Adventure Girl receptionist, but anyway, the Adventuring Girl receptionist.
That's
but anyway, who wants to go next? Thaylien.
Okay, let's go with me. You'll want to go head on down to. Oh, actually, I think I've changed my mind.
Okay.
I've changed my mind. I was going to go with El Hazard, the Magnificent World, which is. But since Xeno went with an isekai, I'm not going to.
Okay.
Except I am.
Okay.
No game, no life.
Okay.
Yeah. That is. It is an isekai. Our main characters go to another world, but they're not killed. They're not summoned in the normal sense. Our two main characters play games. They play video games to the most ridiculous degree. The two of them are brother and sister, and they are so good at this that they will play a four-man game by having one of them playing with their hands and feet to play two characters and the other one doing the same elsewhere. So they will actually play multiple characters during a game and beat out people that are actually cheating. They get a strange invite to play a game of chess against an unknown opponent and win, because chess is one of their specialties, well, one of the characters' specialties. And because they win, their opponent invites them to come to his own world. He turns out to be the god of games, and he rules over the realm of discord.
Kaiba?
No, shut up. Stop interrupting.
He rules over the world of discord, and everything in discord is decided by games. You want to own somebody's house, you can play a game for it. You want to become king of the realm, you play a game for it. And these guys are so good at games in general that they are going to try and solve the world's problem to even unite the world and face off against God.
Can I
to become the rulers of discord? Yes, you
can. So just to highlight, the reason why they're playing games they are forbidden to use any form of combat or warfare to fight each other.
I was going to get into that.
Yeah,
yes.
Sorry, it felt like it needed to be said first.
Yeah, so they're going to challenge God, but they have to challenge God with his rules. And his rules include no war, no stealing, everything must be decided through games, and there's even one on the end of it tacked on, which is have fun. Okay, these are the rules of this world, and using the rules of this world, you can actually rule the entire world, and even, as I say, challenge God himself to become God. Well, if you win enough. And I absolutely love this because of the way it handles the characters. These are genius characters, and they are written that way. They're written to be smart. They're written to be completely detached from normal human experience, because all they do is play games and be really good at that. They even have a little bit of a trauma thing where if they're separated, they can't deal with reality without each other. They go completely catatonic if they're kept away from each other for too long. It's a ridiculous codependence. But when they're united, they can take on anything. And the games get ridiculous. You all know the game where somebody says a word, and you have to say another word that starts with the letter that the first word ended on. And the game sets up where you're simply playing this word game, but every time you say a word, that word gets removed from the world if it exists, or added to the world if it did not exist. Now imagine how you could warp reality using that system, and how you could make it impossible for somebody else to respond, to say another word in return. You might think about taking away the air so nobody can speak. You might, think about taking away the world, so the world itself that you're standing on, so everybody's in free fall and can't, act. It gets so over the top in these games, and yet, if you're that good at games, you can still win.
Yeah. So I want to add on a disclaimer. I do know some people that get creeped out by the relationship between this brother and sister, right? And for them it's a turn off, and they don't want to watch, but they are genuinely missing out. This is a really, really good show.
I don't understand those people. I genuinely don't.
I don't.
The relationship between these two is codependent, but it is that of a brother and sister. There isn't any romance to it, right? There's they put each other on on pedestals of saying, my brother's the best at this, my sister's the best at this, and the brother is very well aware that his sister is really cute and uses that against other people, but they are ultimately not romantic. They are siblings, and that's and it's actually really well done in my mind.
And the other slight point to raise is this didn't get a season 2 for some reason. It did get a movie though.
Got a good movie. It's a really good movie. You end up at the end of that movie thinking, oh, but my characters.
Yeah. Maybe someday. Yeah. Maybe someday.
Oh yes.
The internet's still holding out. Right, Nasuth.
Right.
I'm still holding out.
Initially, I considered Trigun, but that's too close to what we've already talked about. And then I thought about Mushoku Tensei or Jobless Reincarnation, but you two have already done isekais, so I'm going to go with the really weird option of Mieroku-chan, which is the tale of a girl who wakes up one day and starts seeing these terrifying ghosts everywhere. Just everywhere.
I've heard about this one. I want to watch this one.
It's so good. It's so funny, but also genuinely kind of creepy. Some of the ghosts are just either disgusting or terrifying or a little of both. There actually are some adorable ones. And it's just I don't really know how to explain it other than let's see. Let's try to get like right here. This is a little ghost going into the mouth of a bigger ghost because he wants to die, I guess. The ghosts eat other ghosts. It's very strange. There's also a couple of really good spirits, but they may not be good spirits because they also seem to transform into ugly monsters. There's also you get a scene early on where they don't want to give a cat to this guy. They found a cat and they need to give it away to a good home. And so this guy's like, oh, I'll take it. And they don't want to give it to him because Miko sees just darkness all around him. So they give it to somebody else who has this sort of bright aura, like her best friend, this golden aura. But then later in the season, you find out more about that guy and what's going on with him and why he's not actually a bad person. It's deeper than you might think. There's another one where she helps this grandmother I say grandmother, but in the Japanese sense of this old woman whose husband has died, and Miko is seeing the ghost, doesn't want to react to it because she refuses to react to these ghosts. Otherwise, who knows, they might try to kill her. So she finds a way to help this old woman with
So
with
creepy,
the ghosts.
I love it.
Yeah, it's so good. But yeah, I think it's a really good one. It's got funniness, it's got drama, it's got rivalries, creepy ghosts. Really hard to go wrong with it. Really, really hard to go wrong.
So, out of the long list of things we've gabbled at you at consistently over the course of this episode, how many of them do you think you'll actually check out?
I'd say most of them. There was one or two that I'm like, probably not, but most of them I'm like, yeah, I'll probably watch it. Like, I'm planning to get Crunchyroll soon, so once I get that, I'll have a bunch of new stuff to watch.
Yeah, cool.
Oh yeah.
Right, well, I think that's it for the introduction to anime. Let's move on with the show. I need to close that bit. Right, okay, cool. So, moving on to the supporter questions for this week, which sensibly I actually took a screenshot of this time in case anything goes wrong, Nasuth. Yes, I have to check to make sure we're still recording. Right, okay, so Zrul says, before I read out the supporter questions, I just want to say thank you to everyone who was listening or watching or watched the podcast so far. Please make sure to leave a comment down below and hit that like button. It takes a few seconds. Sorry, it just takes a second for you, but it means a lot to us. And also to YouTube's questionable search algorithm. Seriously, YouTube, come on. Then Zrugal asks, if superpowers became real, how do you think anime would change? I think everyone is just like,
I don't think it will, is the honest thing for that.
You would get this has been a running joke, but you would get an isekai about a superpowered person who reincarnates into another world as a normal salaryman.
I was thinking that too. Or like a slice of life about someone who doesn't have superpowers compared to everyone else who does have superpowers. I feel like that's a thing.
There's a brilliant parody from Corridor Digital of the whole Spider-Verse thing where
yeah.
Right. Well, basically, there's a universe where everyone's Spider-Man except for Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just mean. But on the other hand, I think it wouldn't be anime that changes. I think that we'd get a little bit of the boys going on. The corporations taking on sponsorships of the superheroes. And
but
so you might get corporate anime about particular superheroes.
The same way you do about pop stars or video games or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or you've got My Hero Academia, which is like the world is 99.999.99999.9% heroes. So
it's not how decimals work.
They're not heroes. They all have superpowers, but some are more super than others.
Yeah. Anyway, right. So, sorry, I'm not a fan of that show. Anyway, moving on. A guy playing a supporter. Last episode was half a season round. Sorry, was the half a season roundup episode, and it seems that one of the hosts let everyone down significantly. While I really should be talking about Thaylien's almost mono-themed preferences and how they reflect poorly on the show, it instead has to be asked if Nasuth has actually managed to watch more than 3 episodes of any of his new list, Nasuth.
No, and it's because I like to binge them at once. I feel like if I watch them week to week, I forget what's happening. But if I binge several episodes all at once, then I can take better notes. I can keep it fresh in my mind. So
just for context for here, right? So Nasuth has so we take lists of shows that we're gonna watch, right? And Nasuth has ditched the majority of his list.
To be fair, I started with 10.
Yes, and you've dropped it down to like 2 or 3.
It's like 5.
Right?
It's like 5 or 6.
Fuck off.
You only had 5 because I gave you some.
Yes, right?
2, 3,
anyway.
4. Yeah, 5. I've got 5 shows that I'm watching. Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh my God. I couldn't watch that many shows.
It's just a week, but here's the point, Nasuth, right? If you're gonna add stuff to this list and you want to binge watch them, so if you're adding 3 new shows to your list,
True.
that means you have to watch 36 episodes.
True. I should get
by
on
the
this.
time we end the season.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to do that?
No, that's a good point.
That sounds like, that'd be rough.
Right.
Very professional.
Okay. And then a guy playing a supporter also says, this episode is all about introducing another personality to more anime. How much has the cast wanted to recommend? Fuck you. I'm not saying that.
Is it what? Is it
No.
Death Note?
No.
Is it Death Note?
No. Yes, Death Note.
I wanna know.
It's a certain legend about a certain
Oh.
fiend.
Oh.
Yeah.
See,
might be
I'm not allowed to say that anymore.
Yeah, you're not allowed to say that anymore. Right, okay.
I tried to get you to say it, you know.
Yeah, and I fucking won't. Right. Just to see if I can get away with it. No. No.
I feel like you almost did.
Right.
I almost got
Well,
away
it's a
with it.
very distinct word. There's no way on earth I'd actually get halfway through it and then not realize what the hell I was saying.
It's a
Nice
supply
try.
of questions, you know. You have to read them out.
I've suddenly forgotten how to read. Oh well. Moving on to Thaylien.
I just broke on the spot.
My eyes broke. Yeah. I don't have any
Full
eyes anymore.
reference.
Right.
Full reference. That unfortunately is me asking those questions. I am one of the supporters. That's
I
why
appreciate it, Thaylien. I very much appreciate it.
I had to roast myself as well because I definitely deserved it.
Yeah. Right. So moving on to Moving on to the comments. Right. Zrugol. Love your kitchen, man. It's very clean and well kept.
Thank you, Cyril. I appreciate that.
Very lovely kitchen.
It is. It's very nice and compact, and yeah.
I like my models.
Yeah, I will be getting a screen if this becomes more regular, but for now, kitchen.
I can imagine you get a green screen and then you cast a kitchen on it.
Yes.
Actually,
A
no,
different kitchen, not the same
I've
kitchen.
got one better. I will cast my kitchen on it, but also record myself going and getting a cup of tea and bringing it to my desk.
You're walking behind yourself.
I bring myself a cup of tea on the show.
Actually, do you know what would be hilarious? I'd love to see it. Like, you know those those rail shooter video games where people are, you space sim, you're like that, except for it's of your kitchen, right? So you're ducking, weaving between like the pans and the kettles and the knives and things. It's just like, and there you are while this is going backwards. Just looks so weird. Anyway, right. So yeah, it's time for the memes. So Nasuth, your first meme.
Anime summer. What my friends think I do. What my mom thinks I do. What society thinks I do with the body pillow. What the anime industry thinks I do. What I think I do. And what I actually do, which is a scene from the one of the infamous scenes from My Dress Up Darling.
She is speaking the language of the gods.
Indeed.
Yep.
Indeed.
She can't. She keeps falling over her words. Okay.
Right. So number 2, let's put you all outside. All life is precious. Let's talk about Goku versus Saitama. Crush.
No. No.
We do not talk about that.
Yeah.
Cosplayers giving their best to make the perfect outfit, and then there's this guy.
Nice.
Yeah, but he does succeed remarkably well at what he's doing.
So did this
Go
guy.
outside.
You've got to give him respect for what he's got.
Yeah.
Fair, but you can't
Imagination.
go outside holding a toothbrush.
He's thinking outside the box.
Yeah, it's true.
Right. It's official. Not enough sex can kill you. Having too little sex increases the risk of heart attack by more than 2.5 times, scientists have warned. Well, it was nice knowing you guys.
Gankutsuo.
Oh my god.
Oh, Jack.
Everyone using this format recently. Me, an intellectual. I didn't know that this particular JoJo was going to come up this week. It just worked out that way. Go away, cat.
Brilliant.
And then finally, nothing is stronger than family. Goku hears this, instantly reacts.
Say about that.
I heard there were some strong people here. Right.
Oh, God.
Oh, dear.
Right, okay. So, earlier this week, we had the 22nd of February, 2022, which, for some strange reason, all of fucking subreddit went nuts and decided to do nothing but 02 memes from Darling in the Franxx. So, on the 22nd of February, 2022, everyone be like, how you doing, my fellow darlings?
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Then we've got a JoJo reference. So anime haters on Twitter be like, this is Cleo Naturin.
Not on steroids.
Oh my goodness.
He's been a child for 25 years.
Exactly.
Right. My third one. Oh yeah.
What?
So this is Squidward, like, you know, not liking Krabby Patties. He's like, he takes one bite, and then he's just like completely. He's just like
turns into a One Piece character.
Yeah, complete One Piece character.
Right.
Yep, had to do that one. Oh, there we go. So, my landlord wondering if the plumbing is working. Me ready to show off my home.
Oh my god.
It's just a complete weave.
Now, this could go two different ways, right? That's a lot of money there. So either you're super rich or you're burning your money.
Yeah.
Or you've got a
So
lot of credit card debt.
Either way, depending.
Yeah.
And either your landlord never returns, or they say, I see you are also a man of culture.
Yeah, and then take your money.
I just don't understand how Xeno's living room got on here.
Oh, I don't have that many Dakimakuras. But anyway.
He has twice that many.
Oh no.
Right. So this is for Cleo's benefit. Attack on Titan, the final season, is currently airing, and so is My Dress Up Darling. However, My Dress Up Darling has been destroying Attack on Titan in the popularity charts.
Whoa.
Yeah, and everyone. So this meme's popped up.
Also, Attack on Titan's episode was delayed, wasn't it?
Yeah, the last one is,
so you've got My Dress Up Darling, who is Steve Rogers from Captain America Civil War, and you've got Attack on Titan being Sam Wilson, the Falcon. And then, so see you next week. And then Attack on Titan is like, fuck you! Yep. Brilliant.
On your left.
On your left. Cool. And then my last one
is not working for some reason.
You should fix that.
Oh, Nasuth, you broke it again.
You broke it again, Nasuth. And then...
Right.
Cool. And then we got my last one, which is from Ant-Man. She's so useless. I love her. Yep.
Clearly not a Kazuma fan.
Aqua is just... she is just dumb as fuck.
Just the worst.
That is it.
Kazuma. Hi, Kazuma des.
That is it for this week's Kanpai Cast. Thank you so much, Cleo, for being on this week. It has been lovely having you.
And
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Also,
I got so much anime to watch now.
You do. And next week we have digital versus hand-drawn with Pyra. Right. So that is it for this week. Thank you very much, everyone. And now we're going to do our 3, 2, 1 sign out. Are you guys ready?
I am prepared.
Ready.
Cool. Right. 3, 2, 1.
Kanpai!